You don't know the laws of business competition in the universe. You are being crushed by the laws of business competition, Mr. Ren Zhengfei said. He discovered a law of the universe. This law of the universe is called the law of business competition. What is the law of business competition? Is that everything and every organization will go from order to disorder, from birth to death toward aging. This is the model room we bought at the beginning. Isn't it very clean? Yes. But after a few years of living here, is it dirty? This is the law of the universe. If we use a telescope to look at the stars, you'll see that all the stars are moving away from us. Why? Because the universe is still expanding. The universe exploded 13.8 billion years ago, and it's been expanding ever since. In other words, one day, the sun will be farther and farther away from us, and will freeze to death. Even if we don't freeze to death, one day in the future, the sun will die. You heard me right. The sun will die. The sun will die someday. The sun is a star. That star has gone from its infancy to the adult stage. In the future, it's going to be old. It's going to become a red dwarf. And eventually the Big Bang will swallow up the whole entire Earth in 5 billion years. The Earth will be extinct. This is a law. Why is Ren Zhengfei talking about this? Ren Zhengfei said it's a law of the universe, so he found that with this law of the universe, you can not only look at the birth and death of the universe, you can also look at the birth and death of dynasties. He's been studying Chinese civilization for 5,000 years, Mr. Ren Zhengfei discovered, starting from the ancient times to the spring and autumn period and the warring states period, to the Qing, Han and 3 kingdoms, to the Sui, Tang and 5 dynasties, to the Song, Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties, except for the Qing Dynasty, which lasted 800 years. All other dynasties usually lasted 200 to 300 years, and then they fall. Why? Because it conforms to the laws of business competition. A new dynasty is established. It's like a baby. He's like a baby. He's slowly growing into his prime, slowly becoming senile, and then it dies. As with any dynasty, from the very beginning of the dynasty, one day it will die. That's the way it is. This is the law of the universe. The law of business competition. Today, we have an emperor. This emperor has taken over all this, the Han Dynasty. For example, the Han Dynasty was overthrown. The emperors of the Han Dynasty, all the so-called princes, lords, and vassals, they were all destroyed by the people. And after that, this company must be very good. The company must have been very energetic, but slowly the emperor gave birth to 10 sons. 10 sons gave birth to 10 more sons. 10 sons gave birth to 10 more sons. After 200 to 300 years, over the heads of the people, there were tens or even hundreds of thousands of royal relatives to support. The people will have to bear the burden of all these people. All these people have to eat, drink, and go to bed, just like the Qing Dynasty. The so-called feudal lords of the Qing Dynasty didn't need to work. The so-called 8 banners don't need to work. They had to be supported by the people. When the country can't take it anymore, when it reaches its limit in 300 years, it will fall. After it falls, a new man will come. And that new person will be very good, I'm sure, but in the end, there will be more and more people with vested interests, and it will collapse. This is called the law of business competition of dynasties, Mr. Ren Zhengfei. From the law of business competition of the universe to the law of business competition of dynasties, and then to the law of business competition of enterprises. From the day an enterprise is created, it's bound to decline and perish, because it conforms to the law of business competition in the universe. Those once great corporations, like Hewlett-Packard, like Kodak, like Nokia, Motorola, which one of these companies was not a giant? Kodak camera was a big deal back in the day. This company accounted for 2/3 of the world's photographic market. Kodak has over 8,000 stores worldwide, more than 8,000. It's going to be close to 10,000 or so at its peak. He had more stores than KFC, McDonald's. KFC and McDonald's combined 20 or 30 years ago. Have you ever seen Kodak's store? Raise your hand if you have. Is this company great? How did he lose? Someone said he was defeated by digital cameras. Then I'll ask you again. Who invented the digital camera? Kodak invented it. When did Kodak invent the digital camera? Mr. Ren Zhengfei said 1975. You heard right, 1975. An engineer at Kodak invented a digital camera. He presented the technology to the top management of the company. The executives saw it. They could take pictures with memories even clearer than ours. Told this engineer that this technology is not allowed to tell anyone. Some people say, why should they? Remember, it's called a vested interest. Kodak is the #1 film company. They've been selling film cameras. They've been selling film cameras to become the global leader. The raw material they use to make them is film. If one day they are going to come out with their own digital products, all that film stock, they won't be able to sell it all. Do you understand? He doesn't want to revolutionize his own life. He doesn't want to reform his own life. So he gets revolutionized by others. There are two types of companies, or there are two types of individuals. One is the one who sees change and resists it, who rejects it, who fears it, who trembles. This type of person means that your life is nothing more than that. And the other kind of organization, the other type of individual sees change and he's excited about it. He's so excited that he embraces it. He becomes the future. He becomes the mainstream. Just like when e-commerce came, how many brick-and-mortar store owners rejected it? They resisted. In the end, they all died. Those who embraced e-commerce all got rich when the micro-business came. How many people look down on micro-business? Selling face masks sells more than $1 billion a year. Selling eye masks for more than $4 billion a year you look down on. Doesn't mean that other people make money without getting others to make money. How many people look down on micro-business? The e-commerce business has been killed by the micro-merchants. You tell me if this is the truth. When the micro-business is dying, the live streaming business will come. After the live broadcast business came, a group of people boycotted the live broadcast business. How many people look down on Netflix? What are you? You're not a star. You're a netizen. You're not a star. You're a netizen. And you're holding people back from making money. At the end of the day, you'll realize Musk does live broadcast, Jack Ma does live streaming. Many first-tier stars go to do live broadcasts, but so far there are still some stars who are rejected. That's it. So I want to tell everyone, he writes very simple to see if a person has a future. It depends on his attitude towards change.